the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Like 12 hours later, how would you best explain how Tennessee was able to beat UConn? We heard Kim after the game where it's like she I think used the term outworked the Huskies. Was that all that you saw, or did you see other things that Tennessee did really well to beat a top 5 longtime rival?
I do think that was kind of the majority of it. Like, this felt like the first time all season that they played 40 straight minutes. Like, there was maybe spurts where UConn did things. Like in that second quarter, UConn took a 7-point lead twice and kind of got close to maybe the danger zone for the Lady Vols. But very quickly, Tennessee responded. So it felt like the first time all year maybe that we saw Tennessee put together that full 40-minute game that Kim Caldwell keeps talking about, that she keeps wanting to see. And this is the result when you are able to do that as you beat a top 5 team. I think you just kind of saw the Lady Vols wanted it more, and you hear coaches say that all the time. And sometimes it's like, yeah, sure, but like, even if you want it more, that doesn't always lead to a win. It kind of felt like that was a big part of it, though. It felt like down the stretch, if you had to pick a team that needed this win more, or at least showed like the players looked like they needed this win more, it was Tennessee, and they out hustled UConn. I think that showed up on the glass. Like if you look at the rebounding differential, Tennessee smoked them. It was 46-34. I know Kim Caldwell said if they wanted to have a chance in this game, they're going to have to out-rebound them by 10 or more, and then it ends up being 12. So I think effort goes a long way. I think intensity and focus for 40 minutes go a long way, but you also got a great play from a lot of your best players. Sylvia Cooper dealing with the flu, so give her a little bit of a pass for inefficiencies, but you look at the rest of your leading scorers. Z Spearman 6 for 9 from the field. Samara Spencer 6 for 12 and 2 for 5 from 3. Jewel Spear goes 5 for 10 from the field, even though she wasn't shooting the best from range. So you got efficient scoring too from your best players. It's just kind of all around. It was tough to find an area that the Lady Vols didn't look good in.
Oh, that's a follow-up. It's like, is there anyone who didn't even really play well that you wrote down? You're like, they could have used a little bit more from this player?
I mean, yeah, you could nitpick here and there, I guess. Like Tess Darby was 1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3, and maybe you would like to see her knock down a few more shots. Like I said, Talasia Cooper, I think she'll probably want some of that game back. 4 for 15 from the field. She does get 8 rebounds, and she does pass for 4 assists, but she turns the ball over 6 times. And you give her a pass once again because she was so sick and kind of missing practices and things like that. But overall, I mean, you look at the stat sheet. Kanaya Boyd does her role. She takes 1 shot, and it was a really difficult one under the rim that she gets to drop, but she plays the defense that's why she's on the team, is because she's such a great defender. Sarah Puckett, who struggled at times this year, she plays 11 minutes, which isn't a lot, but she goes 2 for 4 from 3 and helps Tennessee as kind of that trail and transition. Jillian Hollingshed steps up in the post. Alyssa Latham gives you 4 points on 2 for 2 shooting. So it really just kind of felt like top to bottom, Tennessee got the best out of pretty much everyone. And you need your best if you want to win a game like that.
100%. What was the biggest turning point of the game for you, Ryan?
I guess it's easy to just say that 13-0 run that they went on. I guess it was the third quarter, but it really felt like the tide was turned there when you knew that wasn't going to be enough. Like, you knew that just because you go on that run and you build, I think it was like up to a 9-point lead, like UConn was going to have enough in the tank. They have the talent on the roster that they'll fight back and make it interesting. But at that point, I think it was kind of like, the Lady Vols might actually win this game. Like, they actually have a chance here to keep this thing rolling and build up enough of a lead that even if UConn can make a run like they did at the end of the game, that you've built up enough of a cushion that you can survive it. But also, outside of that, I mean, just in the fourth quarter, just some massive shots in response that Tennessee had. And Jewel Spear was huge in it too. She hit a 3 with like 3 minutes left when it was a tie game, and you tie the game up at 69, and it's like, okay, well, there's just maybe a little bit too much time on this clock. Maybe Tennessee needed this game to be a 35-minute game instead of a 40-minute game. But Jewel Spear comes in and hits a big response. She has a layup right after that too, I believe, and then Z Spearman as well down the stretch was crucial. So not only just that 13-0 run, but also just clutch play down the stretch, I think was the difference.
What looked different to you about Tennessee late in the game and work? Because we talked about, I think on last week's show, about just questions about the offense. Sometimes in the half court, and it can get dicey at times where they're just really asking Talasia to create on her own and to do stuff with the elbow and mid-range stuff. And that it looked more cleaned up here. Did it look like that to you, that Tennessee's offense has started to figure some things out here, especially late in the game?
Yeah, I think they just kind of look more comfortable, and that comes with the experience, and that's what Kim's talked about too. Is like, hey, we've been in this situation so many times. There's no reason to kind of panic. And she pointed at the Florida State and the Iowa game from out of conference play, where that's two pretty good teams, and it's two teams that one of the games kind of the score, I think Lily Vols won by like 10 against Iowa, but both of those games were pretty close down the stretch, and Tennessee was able to win those games. And all of a sudden SEC play arrived, and maybe you lose one game that you felt like you should have won, and then two, and then three, and then all of a sudden it's 4 and 5. And she felt like maybe they lost some confidence in closing out games, or just kind of something like that, just kind of lost their mojo down the stretch. And for them, I think, to kind of get one under their belt at Missouri, even though Missouri is not the standard of a top 10 opponent that they're trying to knock off, I think maybe that helps, just to kind of see again, like, hey, even though it's a close game, we're capable of doing it. And for them, that was maybe enough to give them some confidence down the stretch, because I don't think it was like a complete overhaul of what they're doing on offense or defense or anything like that. It just kind of seemed like they're comfortable. They executed what they wanted to do, and they made some big shots.
I like
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.